this. Is there anything you want the fans to know or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
Hold on. Okay.
We are so excited about this week's episode.
It's called Hero Gas.
Initiating system.
Warning, 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 warning.
All right, let's do this one last time.
And now for our feature.
Hey everyone, we are live. Welcome back to Jedi Mike 7 Movie News Show. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. We have a lot to discuss today. Before we get started, just want to say, make sure you guys hit subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Hit notification bell on your way out so you can be up to date on all the uploads we're going to be having on this channel moving forward and everything. And make sure you also check our community tab too. We also get feedback from you guys as well, and also keep you up to date on the latest news going on in the world of movies and everything else like that. I'll have my co-host going to be joining me here very, very soon, but I'm going to first be acknowledging folks in the chat here. Let's see. Shout out to Wally. Shout out to Well Talk Productions. Shout out to Wally, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. L. Nixon in the building. L. Nixon, the voice of reason, man. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Marcus in the building. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get the wrench and everything for you. Don't worry, I got you, bro. And shout out to a newcomer here, Mike Entertainment. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Mike Entertainment, another content creator. Also very good on TikTok and everything. Does a lot of movie reviews, reporting news and stuff like that. Shout out to him, man. I've been watching his content. And I've been liking, just want to support, new content creators and everything. We're all in the space and stuff, and especially you want to see someone who's actually, doing the work, being consistent also and really good at what they're doing and has a passion for what they're doing, right? And that's what I saw with Mike Entertainment. So another Mike in the building. Make sure you guys scroll to Mike Entertainment on YouTube. The moderators, you can find his channel on YouTube. You can drop it down below in the chat. But yeah, and I see my co-host is here in the building, but I see you in the back. I just see a chair. I'll yeah. Wait, I see you waving, man. I see you waving, Negro. Come on. But yeah, y'all. So as you guys see in the title, I'm gonna be talking about the Flash, and I'll make sure I'm changing this banner here. Again, also making sure my internet's good. Freeze frame and all that stuff like that, right? I hope I'm doing good. Are we good, y'all? Cool. Yes, guys, we're gonna be talking about the new DC film. Very controversial in a lot of different reasons and ways and stuff like that. But that's going to be The Flash, starring with Ezra Miller, with Michael Keaton returning as Batman, and among very other characters too. This film was very, very basically hyped in terms of it being one of the most important DC movies, if not one of the greatest DC films of all time. And with this film, I felt that you can say was the hype was real? Was the hype, basically did it pay off? Is this the DC movie we've finally been waiting for, y'all? And all I can say is that with this being the first step into the right direction, especially this film being directed by Andy Muschietti. The director, he directed movies like It and other films like that. He's It Chapter 1, Chapter 2, very, very good director, who's also now been confirmed to direct the next Batman film within the DC continuity timeline, not the Matt Reeves Batman film. I guess part 2. I see you in the back. Now I'm about to go bring up my my co-host here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Jay King. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Wait, what's going on here? Hello, Barbie. You're muted. What the fuck you doing, man?
Let party.
Oh man, yeah. Anyway, that's shout out to Jay King, my co-host here. Hope you having a rest of your day, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Doing good. Yeah. So you saw The Flash when? Yesterday? Or today?
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay, cool. Are you sounding low? I'm making sure everyone can hear you.
Not sure actually.
1 second, I just make sure I'm hearing you right. All right, you talk now?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. All right, I can hear you. All right, man. So,
right.
Yes. So, yeah, we'll be talking about The Flash. I will be dropping a video tomorrow, which is going to be breaking down all the cameos that was in this film, which we will be addressing here. But also, just giving you also update what's going on moving forward, too. I'll be dropping another video covering a lot of news just dropped today out of the blue. I woke up out of a freaking nap, and they just dropped the first trailer for Last Airbenders series on Netflix, and I've been waiting 20 years.
Squid Games, Squid Game season 2,
Squid Game season 2, and One Piece. John,
right?
No, man, but yeah, I that has to be Last Airbender got to be a whole separate video on itself and everything. But I know J King, he also got some videos saying talking about working with Spider-Verse, which are going to be also breaking stuff with that down as well. But I just want to make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. If you've seen the film, again, this is a spoiler review of The Flash before we get into any details. Because this movie got a lot of things, writing for it and also writing against it. And I want to make sure that we're also giving our perspective in a non-biased view, in a way of like just coming as subjective but also objective as we could. Because again, as we try to separate, the art, from the artist and sometimes and everything. And with this film, it had a lot of things going against it. And, with the main star, which being Ezra Miller. And I want to make sure that as we're talking about this film, we're going to talk about the performances, the story, more than actually behind the scenes things, which we're going to get into briefly. Talking about what's the next step moving forward. Because actually after this movie, the answer I have is I don't know. And so I just want to start with J King. What was your thoughts on The Flash?
All right. Well, real quick, salute to Team JVS for being in the chat as well.
Oh yes, I didn't know he just showed up. Yeah, man. I got my internet good. We're all good. We got the internet speed. We got the shout out to sponsors of the channel. Not sponsor. Yeah. So yeah, this is the new.
This video was sponsored by
TP Link. You got your high gain wireless MIMO USB adapter, right? That you can hook up to a desktop or a laptop and this and everything, and it can give you a more advanced Wi-Fi access and stuff. And the internet speed's going good. I tested earlier. You guys can hear me clearly and everything, and we're going good. But shout out to Team JVS. Make sure you guys subscribe to them as well. You also see me at their platform as well. And matter of fact, I know we're going to try to do a live stream about this on Team JVS channel relatively soon about The Flash. But if you have seen The Flash, I'd like to invite you guys on the panel and we have this discussion. But because I want to hear other people's perspectives as well. Because again, this is not just our review. We want to hear the fans' feedback about this too. But King, what was your thoughts on The Flash?
So yeah, saw it late last night, and once it ended, I think the best word to describe my feelings towards this film is just, damn, that was really emotional. Because as we'll discuss, it's a very emotional film, as well as being, among other things. I know that going into this film, a lot of people, including a lot of people that I talked to, were thinking that this was like, oh, this is just going to be a Michael Keaton or Ben Affleck Batman film featuring The Flash. Like they're going to take center stage and they're going to, be the main focus of this film, even though the title is called The Flash. No. At the end of the day, the title character, Ezra Miller's Barry Allen, both Barry Allens in this case, they were the heart and soul of this entire story, especially dealing with the emotional trauma that at least our Barry has dealt with, and is basically through this film having to accept things that are basically unavoidable or unchangeable, not just in the terms of his family, but in the terms of the grand scheme of things, before he accidentally, breaks the multiverse and basically allows DC for it to enter in its brand new age of DC content. But again, like as a film, I really enjoyed it. And I have to say, just getting this out the bat, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to bring this up soon, later on. Ezra Miller, love him or hate him at this point, did a really good job as Barry Allen in this. I could definitely feel the damaged character that he was from beginning of this film to the end, like especially that last scene with his mom that I'll just say, yeah, that got me. That really got me. Like outside of all the cameos and all of the, effects, which we'll talk about the effects as well. I just have to say, emotionally, this story really got me. Action wise, I enjoyed the action. Character wise, I enjoyed pretty much every character that was in this film. I feel like they all had a place to be when it comes to the story. And overall, I think it's a good way, if this is going to be somewhat a ending, a pinpoint, a conclusion to the DCEU, at the very least it ended on a film that kept me entertained for the entire time.
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying. Like with this film, I really was kind of drawn to more of the story because those you guys don't know, the story is more of a derivative or um adaptation to the Flashpoint storyline, which is where Barry Allen goes back in time to save his mother. And with that, creating a alternate timeline that basically kind of disrupts, a lot of things and basically lead to almost the end of the world. And a lot of DC characters that are in the story, not just Batman, but you've got Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman as well, Cyborg, Reverse
Shazam,
Flash. Yeah, Reverse Flash, who was not in this film,
he's not
or
at
at least,
all. We we
yeah,
we
not
we,
even
we
mentioned or anything. Which we'll get
Nope.
into that.
Yeah,
Um,
we have an evil speedster, but it's not Eobard.
Right. And but really what I really appreciate with this film, what it talks about is more of the human story of not learning to let things go. And it basically goes into the heart of the Flashpoint storyline, which really the big message for me was when in this film was when uh, it was talking about there's not going to be an answer for everything, right? Which at the time you watching this movie along with other movie Spider-Verse, both these themes kind of are similar in terms of like, hey, learning to let things go or being master of your own fate, learning how to you can't change everything, acceptance, knowing how to like grieve properly and things, also learning how to accept wisdom from somebody else telling you, hey, listen, you shouldn't be doing this, this is a bad idea. And then when you're in that situation, you learn the lesson that the very person was trying to teach you, right? I really wanted to go more deeper in terms of the film, because even when you get into Barry specifically, right? This film, even though it's an adaptation of the Flashpoint storyline, it still goes into the message of saying, what was I forgot the what was the quote that was saying that you have to accept the things you can change, and know the things you can't, and have the wisdom to know the difference, right? That was that was the first line that was in the Flashpoint um, comic, and also in the animated movie, which you guys can go see right now on Max on a streaming service and stuff like that. But that is the quote to me that I really live by in terms of DC Comics. I live by the most. And why I feel more related to the Flash and Spider-Man, those two characters specifically, right? What they go through and the inner turmoil they have as a character, knowing that they, especially in Flash stance, if he has the power to go back in time and change it, basically almost play God in the sense, right? Is that not knowing the ramifications of knowing when to let things go, and knowing, hey, listen, I have the ability to change, to go back in time and change things, but should I? Right? And with that, why causing you more problems trying to live in the past instead of what Bruce Wayne said in this film: "Don't live your past, live your life." Right? And I thought that was,
Mm.
and my multiple viewing watching this film, I just felt more and more weight on that line. That even though Ben Affleck was briefly in this movie, but the role he played in this movie, again, I felt that the lines he delivered was very, very substantial in terms of setting the tone of the overall rest of the film. Um, but yeah, with J. King, I wanted to know, uh, even then, without your first impressions of the movie and stuff, but how this film basically goes into that message of not learning to let things go, and not, there shouldn't be an answer to everything, which is what you learn from Barry Allen's mother, how the lesson she's teaching to Barry.
Um, I think when it comes to that message, it's really emphasized when it comes to, I say when it comes to like both berries, it's really emphasized when they have their specific moments. In the beginning of the film, Barry, he wants to talk about the the court day coming up, their next chance to hopefully get his father out of prison. And while his father's like, like, don't focus on me, like, go live your life. Even something that he echoed back in Justice League. He's like, go live your life. Don't let your life like wither away because you're worried about trying to get one old man like, out of jail. That was his moment of not accepting. And then for other Barry, his moment of not accepting was both finding out what happens to his mom in the other timeline, plus, trying to save Batman and Supergirl from a fate that he didn't know until like it was literally smacked until some sense was smacked into him that it's inevitable. Both Barry Allens in a case are people who are just very much not wanting to let go, because as it was said also early up in this film, there's not a solution for everything. Like, there's not. They tried as many times as they could, but there really isn't a solution for everything. Like that whole metaphor that was brought up when it came to Barry's home, like, there's multiple ways to go about with this, but it's all going to end up at the same conclusion. Sometimes there's just things you can't change, and at that point, you have to, again, going back to the comic and animated film, accept the things you can't change and learn to change the things that you actually can. I think that was pretty much the entire lesson of this film, is just learning to accept that. And throughout the film, like, I'd say for the most part, it was young Barry not accepting that, because after going to the new timeline, I'd say like our Barry didn't have that like on his mind. He was just trying to find a way to get back to the proper timeline. But again, like, you could see it in both these Barrys, just a willingness to not accept that. And it's obvious that they've been in that state of denial for years, because again, this happened to him when he was young, and now he's in like his mid-20s, I think, by the events of this film. He is really in a state of like, he's been dealing with this for so many years. He ain't gonna accept this. But it takes until pivotal points in this film to accept that. I think when Michael Keaton's Batman said, you already have, when he was trying to save him, that was him just realizing there's nothing else I can do. And learning at that moment, there's nothing else I can do, not just with this, but with my mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And before we kind of get into like, our positives and our negatives with the film and stuff like that, and then we get to the whole geek out, parts of it, right? But like, that it was really, I love in terms of the dynamic between Barry 1 and Barry 2, is that you're seeing him like a reflection of himself that he really didn't realize before, like how he had to deal with himself, you're arrogant, you don't listen to anybody, you're selfish, you don't have any sense of responsibility and stuff like that, right? And then he realized, like, I'm sorry, I'm not really good at doing for these types of conversations, even with myself, right? And then the younger one, even though he's naive, he's still like, hey man, like, don't worry about that, I mean, you still did a lot of things right and stuff like that, you saved Supergirl and everything. But again, it's also going to that parallels that sometimes we have to learn lessons from ourselves, or i.e., like, we don't have the opportunity to look at a doppelganger of ourselves, but at least we can look into ourselves in terms of solutions that probably been holding for ourselves for years, right? Learn in terms of let things go, forgiveness, forgiving yourself, grieving, learning to let the past be the past and move on, and knowing that whatever your scars that you have, don't let those tragedies define you. Again, and you feel like now throughout this whole experience at the end that Barry was coming to that conclusion when he's looking at himself, younger self, being more consumed with, I can change this, I can change that, and blah blah blah, and just creating more, a threat, which is really to a point where Barry Allen didn't need to have an arch nemesis or have the reverse Flash in this film. If anything, the villain of this film was himself, like in terms of you become your own
literally
version.
and physically,
right? Sorry, I'm trying to show the screen here, but yeah, like literally, two sides of the same coin. Knowing if you can't let things go, what do you actually become, right? And again, I like what Ezra Miller's performance, what the performance that they gave in playing a younger version of himself, and also having the combative arguments with himself and in the same scene. And I just really like, the conclusion to that was at the end, when they end the Speed Force and then going and say, listen, we have to change this. And then younger Barry's like saying, no, we can't, nobody dies, right? And arguing with him. And I just thought that scene, to me, was just kind of very, very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but going to next, like, what was your other positives? Like, I mean, we haven't even mentioned Michael Keaton though, but
Yeah, Michael Keaton was really good. But I have to say, another positive that I have to say when it comes to this film is that even though it feels like it can veer away from the original story of the Flashpoint movie, it's still, when you look at it, like when you really look at it, it's basically still the Flashpoint story, just in a different like coding. Like, there may not be Superman or like skinny Superman, but we got Supergirl. We may not have the war against the Atlanteans and the Amazonians, but we have the Earth versus, Zod and the Kryptonians. And it still ends with devastation until Barry goes and fixes it. Another thing that I really like, though, as a positive, is how they portrayed Barry going through time, a sort of like, spear chrono ball and an amphitheater of the timeline. I really liked how that looked.
yeah, because we've seen visually ways they can go back in time and everything,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But I really like what they did in terms of it was a new approach. It wasn't copying what the CW did and everything, and it was visually I thought it was creative. I thought they could have it made sense in terms of like the way he was running and what was going happening around him in that chrono ball and stuff like that. And then
Mhm.
seeing like the history being played as he's running and
Right.
seeing like familiar faces or events that just happened. Um, and
Right,
that just
like
happened.
the events of the Justice League, which, I mean, hey, could be either Snyder or, original release version of it. Seeing like, seeing like, when he first meets Bruce, seeing, court dates with his father, all the way to the death of his mother, even when he rewrites time and we see his family being there, like, together throughout all the years instead of being apart. Again, it's like sort of like, passing by time, it sort of collapses into him. Going, forward, it kind of like it's pushing away. I like how that looked. Again, it was a new approach,
Yeah,
and some will say the CGI was like, but they said that was on purpose because it was not supposed to look 100% real. It was supposed to look almost like statuesque in a way. It wasn't supposed to actually look 100% good, which I know will still throw some people off, but understandably, I understand where they were going. Like, stop it right now. Stop it right now. Stop it right now.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
go on, just go on.
Look, all I'm saying is that the Chrono Spearball scenes were good. Like, its CGI wasn't 100% great. I get what they were going for. Still could have used some polish, but it was good. And honestly, I kind of felt like it was a representation of like a non-physical, like cosmic treadmill, also, or like a hamster wheel, if you think about it.
Well, it goes to that point when they're saying like time isn't linear. They make that, and the way that and they make it was not like it's a track, it's a sphere. Where it's
Right.
like anything can be moving
Mm-hmm.
parts and stuff like that. So I thought visually it made sense in terms of how they were explaining it. But let's get into well, again, I got to go into positive before I get negatives and stuff. But well, Michael Keaton, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
this film, they bring back Michael Keaton as Batman from 1909, Tim Burton, and I got to say that Michael Keaton does not miss a beat at all. I
Nope.
felt like the way he was conveying, as being more older, seasoned Batman and stuff, and getting still going to the whole. We've been down this trope before, like your greatest heroes, years later now they become hermits and stuff. I'm like, okay, here we go,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it didn't took that much for him to get right back into the suit when he first introduced with in the scene and everything, which I really liked. I was like happy to didn't spend that long trying to him like, oh, I don't want to be Batman anymore. I was like, okay, I'll put the suit back on. All right, cool.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't a lot of that. It didn't really take a whole bunch of convincing. Like as soon as we got to him, like it didn't take super long. I'd say it maybe took like I don't know, 15 minutes just to fully convince him, and then after that, he was on board the whole time.
yeah, yeah, and I like that. Even when you get into this film, that you have multiple Batmans in this movie. That when you have from Ben Affleck into Michael Keaton, but still playing the same role in terms of like advising Barry, which again it goes right into the comics to me, which what I love is that he's still being like a mentor figure to Barry, regardless of it being him being a variant or not, or alternate version. And I really enjoy when just in the scene, just again, just him just being able to not just be there for nostalgia purposes too, but again, just like uh still playing the role of being like I'm a seasoned hero, and this guy is still a little bit inexperienced. Let me still show oh 1 second still show what I need to do, and I'm still Batman. Right, and I like again that there's history that was being that established there in terms of like he had an Alfred, he did pass away, his Alfred. They didn't really get no mention of like Selena Kyle or anyone, but which I really wanted, to. But again, I just felt that Michael Keaton did not miss a beat in terms of he wasn't just there just to collect a check. He literally was, invested into the character, and it was a good addition, I think, to bring him in this film. But yeah, and going on to that with other character when you talk about is Supergirl, with Sasha, who's now like one of my new favorite characters, and hopefully after this film, I hope she continues as Supergirl. To give her a new approach to me away from the whole Melissa Benoist Supergirl from the CW, that she gave more season, more like grittier Supergirl that's been through trauma, that been through hard times and everything like that, and also based off her experience for taking the place of Clark when in the Flashpoint storyline where he was locked in and by the government. It was actually her, and in a way that now that she just want to say, hey, listen, Krypton is we're about saving people and everything, but I don't trust you humans. But then he trusts how Barry, even then, like it wasn't Clark Kent, he still saved her, and I like that moment still solidified her to say, hey, I'm gonna help you fight against Zod. But I liked her performance again. I know that the film that they're gonna be talking about with Sasha, not with Sasha, we don't know yet, but with Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I think that the film that Supergirl is gonna be more grizzled character, which I'm like, well, this seemed that Sasha's performance seemed grizzled to me, so I hope they they're able to use her character more and moving forward and stuff like that. And so yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion. But what do you think about Sasha?
I think she did a really good job, portraying this more grittier version of Supergirl. See, when it comes to Supergirl, there's really like two versions that I know. The more happy-go-lucky, but still like, not an idiot, Supergirl that we've seen sometimes in the comics and also kind of with Melissa Benoist in the CW. But then there's the other version. She kind of reminded me of the New 52 Supergirl, who at the beginning was very, very gritty and very like headstrong and very arrogant, as well. She reminded me of more of that battle-hardened Supergirl. And I think she did a really, really good job, like taking the place of what would have been in the storyline, the skinny, somewhat weaker Kal-El, to a more, not so weak, but, playing the same pivotal role, type of character. She did a really good job in her performance. And it was also crazy to see just her connections to the other Kryptonian characters, like, of course, the return of Zod within this film, and finding out in this universe what happened to Kal-El, which also makes me question, is it the reversal in the DCEU? Like, is that why we never potentially saw her up until this point? I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get those answers, but at the very least, like, if you ask me if I would want more of her, like if I had the chance and to say she's Supergirl for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, yes, I would 100% say yes. I mean, hell, she could actually be, and I'll get to that when we talk about like, the ending and the other two endings that potentially could have been outside of the one we got. But hopefully in some perfect world, which we'll see if it's this new universe, maybe she'll return. I hope she does. She did a really good job. She killed it.
Yeah, and even then, I thought just like Flash and was it a Supergirl? The hero combination is just right from the comics, right? Yeah, we've seen that in the
Mhm.
CW again, but still, what her character and what she was able to bring to that role, and just dynamic between her and Barry, and it felt like old school, like DC in terms of the contribution of like, hey, listen, we have a new type of team up, right? But
Mhm.
one thing I did appreciate with her is that all she did was trying to dedicate her life to like, listen, I want to just find my cousin, and I'm here to protect him, and just the same trope. But again, just like with Zod, just saying the anger when she found out that he was killed, it felt raw. Didn't feel like, oh, she's being overpowered, which you find out, yeah, she doesn't get overpowered. No, she's not OP. I mean,
Mm-mm.
she is Supergirl, she's OP, but I'm saying like
She ain't
all the
invincible.
listen, the modern woman, hey, I'm a girl, I'm invincible. Nah, not today. Basically, Zod was like, gotcha, bitch. I was like, yeah, listen, I got both of
He,
y'all.
he did
I
that
got two,
twice. He did
look,
that twice.
I got two Kryptonians under my belt, right? But yeah, so another one. But listen, it's just like I just like what he again. It felt right, and it wasn't felt like someone was just overly powerful for no reason and stuff. I'm just like, and she, yeah, and I was glad it didn't go the trope of like, oh hey, hey guys, how you go? What's going on? Whatever the animated cartoon Supergirl and CW like, and I hope and I know with James Gunn what he can do in moving forward, that's not the Supergirl we're going to get. So I like that they're going to go a different direction with her. But lastly, I think what I want to talk about more before we get into the whole like the things I didn't like about the film was the just terms of it was a celebration of DC in general in terms of this was why I say this is one of the greatest DC movies ever made. Hey Robbie, how you doing? Was that uh, it was it solidified the universe in a way of the theme of this movie again that these characters not just gods, they're just people, right? And that was kind of like a disconnect for me previously with other films. Was like the way they were trying to pick them was like, yeah, you put them in this more related superpower, they're gods, more like kind of putting them symbolism of like Greek gods or even Jesus, crying out loud. But
And we
how
had
I
a
grew up,
lot of Jesus metaphors with Snyder.
right? And but what and all Snyderverse fans will get triggered, whatever. But while what I grew up with was with the Justice League, limited cartoons and the Batman animated series, Superman animated series, and stuff. Those
Hmm.
are the foundation of DC that I've been waiting for, and I really have not gotten that until I seen this movie. Yes, you got
Same.
the Dark Knight, you got Joker. Is this the greatest DC movie made? No. Is it? But what I'm saying is, it one of the greatest in terms of the theme of it having a celebration of DC and what it is in terms of the morals that DC Comics is built on. Yes, and that's to me why I feel like this film is. I put it on par with some of the other films and everything. Even though as a film made, it's not Dark Knight and it's not Joker. So for me to compare that at all, or the Batman, and for me to compare those films in general, whatever, it's night and day. But as a DC fan, this gave me those feel good feelings that hopefully that James Gunn is trying to do moving forward. But that's why I feel like Celebrate is like, Batman is Batman. The Flash is the Flash. Supergirl is Supergirl. It's not like, yeah, you have an adaptation of this character, but it's like turned at their heart, they are what I remember as terms of what these characters are supposed to be. And that's to me, I'm like, I appreciate Andy Muschietti for doing it. And the fact that he could be doing the Batman movie of the DC movie Batman with Damian Wayne as Robin and all stuff, and establishing the Bat family and stuff like that in that film. If this is going an ounce of it, I'm excited. I'm totally excited.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, since he's now helming it after this film, yes, 100%, I'm on board.
Yeah, and so before we get into I want to talk about the ramifications of this scene of this film, because we're gonna get into it. But what's some of the things I did not like? Right, I made a joke about it no earlier, but really it was the visual effects in this film. Now I've seen this film twice. I saw it in the early fan screening, and I've seen it 2 days ago. Now, when I saw it for the first time, there was a Andy Muschietti and the producer. She was saying, "Hey, this is not the finished version of the film. We're still working on it and everything like that. You guys, this is not the finished cut." I'm like, "Okay, all right." And then we're seeing some of the visual effects. I'm like, "All right, I can see they need some stuff to work on and everything." But yeah, man, it was like giving Tron Legacy vibes to me. To like really like Lily, like you can tell which Flash, like Barry, which was the real one, which was the fake one. Even just like certain scene, yeah, really it was really the Barry scenes that really took me out of the film. With having both Barrys on the same time, like in the same scene together, because at some points, oh, they have it great. Like when they have the scene of them in the Speed Force when they first meet, oh yeah, it's like seamless, right? But then when you just have the off shots and they're just like and the face is just like this, whatever. Yeah, it's like it's just getting kind of like weird, man. But yeah, that was to me that was one of the biggest cons with with this and stuff, because parts of it's good, but other parts of it just look really, really wonky, in my opinion. But what do you think?
You're like asking what's my negative about the film, or about specifically?
Yeah, negative.
Well, I mean, again, I understand why the CGI was essentially like Chronosphere wise. I understand that one. Other scenes, yeah, I can completely see what you're saying. Like, it was very easy to tell. And I mean, it's not just easy to tell because, oh, they got different lightning, or, the different suits, one's the Flash suit, the other is basically one of the Batman suits made into a Flash suit. It wasn't that. Like, you could definitely tell which one was which when it came to some of those fight scenes. I say one small little nitpick with me has to be most of the scenes with young Barry. Now, I understand why he is the way he is, and I understand, that even he understands that, yeah, I'm kind of annoying, but there were just some points. Yeah, he said kinda, but no, like I still like young Barry, but he needed to tone down a bit. That laugh, I know as soon as
I like, look, literally, he was an absolute idiot in this movie, right? But
he
then
was.
But a part of it was like some of the things that was happening in the movie with young Barry. I'm like, well, this is kind of historically accurate what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, breaking into people's homes. Understand, like, seriously, like, I mean, I was like, causing chaos and havoc and everything, and I'm like, okay. Abuse against women, i.e., for Fiora, rest in peace. He gave her that. Gave her that that shredder. Right, but yeah, no, I was like, okay, but I was like, yeah, I was just like, this is kind of accurate, but hey, I'll be quiet,
Yeah.
But yeah, nah, I was just like thinking, like, man, like this was really accurate. But yeah, but other than that, some things I did not like, which we're gonna get into. One, I said this film had one of the best, if not the best DC DC comic scene I've had in any other film I've seen in my entire life. Right? Yes, you have defining moments like the Joker with the Dark Knight, you know, with the Heath Ledger in the interrogation scene, whatever. But talking about old school like fanboy DC, it's with this film, which we're gonna get into really the scene of him going back in time and finding out that the Dark Flash that actually went and stopped him from being in 2013 was actually the younger Barry that became the Flash early, right in that time, right? So that's what happened, and I felt uh oh, by the way, yeah, shout out to Ronan on this. The greatest,
That
the greatest,
opening.
yeah. Look, other than like, yeah, Joker, because I keep going back to Dark Knight, right? Like I have a level of common sense. I can know like we know what's top tier and whatever. But DC Justice League, you know, hey Bruce, Barry, I need you and stuff, right? I'm like, but Bruce, I gotta get coffee, whatever. Hey, did you call Superman? He's busy. Hey, did you call Wonder Woman? Yeah, she didn't answer. Cyborg, oh yeah, he's busy too. Yeah, Aquaman, this is a land mission. So it's like, hey, it's like, and then the craziness of like, was the worst thing that could have happened? Like babies falling down the damn building.
Newborn babies.
Like there was a woman down in our first screening. We're watching this, and she's like, "Not the babies, not the babies." You know,
like only a madman could have thought of a scene where an entire half of an institute falls and babies and a rescue dog and a nurse fall, and Barry, who is low on energy, has to run and catch them all without hurting any of the newborn babies.
Right, and also child endangerment too. You put the damn baby in the microwave. I'm like, this is accurate. Like this is like all you're missing is just a gun with some bullets and stuff. Like I mean. But seriously, I was like, he put a damn baby in the damn microwave, and it was on fire. It was toasted. Like
somehow he was
like remember he was protecting the baby so it won't get burnt, whatever, right? But you put in the microwave, and the microwave got fire on it. I'm like, you mean tell me that baby isn't cooked, motherfucker? I was like. And like, at least you got the therapy dog. Like, let's not forget about that motherfucker. You know, like you got, you know, hey, we love dogs here. We can't, you know, yeah. But yeah, no, it was like Barry's like saying, listen, hey, I'm sorry, you just endured a very traumatic experience. Hopefully the Justice League can help you, but right now, we're not really good in mental health right at this moment. You know, like that I like that what we were saying there. But again, the Ben Affleck scene with him chasing it like that's DC Comics Batman. He just like he get hit by cars and with the grappling gun and everything. Like that's like that was other than like the warehouse scene, that's the one of the greatest Batman scenes with Ben Affleck. Like that was off the chain. That was off the chain. I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, cool. You know, again in Falcone's son or Maroni's son, whatever.
Falcone.
Cool. Like Justice League, like if I watch the cartoons, like that's one of the opening episodes. I was like, yeah, go ahead. And then all of a sudden, you know, you think about to get dropped in the chemicals again and everything. And all of a sudden, Wonder Woman show up. I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Bruh, like that just like it's sad that this is probably the last time we're going to see them because this felt proper Justice League. Yeah,
no, it's but I'm saying that was close as we got. Even you know, we had a shot of Henry Cavill's Superman, and you know, and when he was going back in time. But in the theater, like when he showed up, everybody was clapping. At least just you know, showing. And then when Wonder Woman showed up too, it was like because with this film, like the first fan screening we had, like you can feel everybody was hardcore DC fans. They're literally people trying to beat and get in the seat and everything, right? Mm-hmm. But with that scene. It's almost like we didn't know who was in this film, who wasn't. So it's like, oh wait, Alfred's in this. Like, okay, and this is before the TV spots revealed like more stuff and everything. But I'm like, look, okay, you got him back in this. Wait, oh, Wonder Woman is in this? Okay, cool, right? So yeah, I was happy, and everything. But and then when we got into with Ben Affleck again, going to that scene of him talking to with Barry before he left, Iris and everything,
Barry.
and stuff. He said, "Listen, I made a lot of mistakes in my past, but again, don't let these tragedies define you and stuff. I can go back and say your parents and too. Like, listen, I'm fine, but I'm alone." He's like, "We could get some brunch or get some food and whatever, yeah." And they said maybe next time. Then he jumps into the car, and I'm like, "That's
And
the
then
last
and
time."
then Michael Keaton Batman says maybe next time as well. I just realized that.
When? What do you mean?
He says it too when he dies.
Maybe next time. Oh, maybe next time. Oh, wait. Maybe next time. No, he didn't say that. Did he?
He did.
Maybe next. Well, okay. That would parallel that. But yeah, okay, cool. All right, okay. I was like, all right. I was like, I know he said, "Listen, I can't go back in time to save you," like you did. Yeah, maybe in the next universe or something, whatever, or like he was saying something like that. But yeah, and then, but yeah, that was just a really good moment. But and it was like Michael Keaton was, something's gonna happen to him and stuff. But and then I love the point where they all died, and it's like Barry's like they want to go back in time and save him. Like, listen, this is the pinnacle in any DC movie. This is why you need a Flash in the Justice League. But like, like when DC gets dark, I mean, like they're killing, and this is what parts what Marvel won't do, right? They will, kill, they'll decapitate folks, and burn the whole entire damn Green Lantern Corps with John Stewart. I'll never forget you motherfuckers for doing that shit in Justice League Dark War. I will never forget you for doing that. He about to say the O and about to finish that bitch, and all of a sudden, Darkseid just burned him into a crisp and everything. I'm like, nah, they've been doing John Stewart dirty for the last 20 years, and I'm sick of it. Right? Shout out to Lanterns, which is coming out. But anyway, but yeah, man, I was like, regardless, when you find out that Flash was still alive, everything like, okay, we good. All right, get the fuck up. Go get off that treadmill. Let's go. Reverse this bitch. Let's go. So like constant, and then like what was it? Superman was like saying, "Oh, we half the planet's course, it's gone, whatever." I'm like, but where's the Justice League? The Justice League don't quit. We can still do this if we all work together. And Constantine's like, man, you got to fucking do.
And Constantine was like, Barry, get up.
Like, nah, man, fuck this. Reverse this.
He
but
said, you know what you got to do.
Right. This is DC animated humor for y'all. You guys know, which by the way, the animated movies in DC is like, that's what I'm saying. If we get to that type of, storytelling, but more elaborate and everything, it's golden. I'm just saying it's golden. But yeah. And now, let's get into the scene I'm talking about, which is the moment where you find out that Dark Flash is the younger Barry, and the chaos is happening, and the chronal ball is unraveling, and as it expands, the camera expands, and all of a sudden you see different Earths in the multiverse and stuff, and then as soon as that moment, like, okay, like you're seeing it expand, you're seeing it grow and everything like that, and immediately when you see other planets and stuff, like, that was the moment.
My God, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait. Everybody calm down. No.
I was like, it's about to go down, motherfucker. Like, we're about to go down, right? And I'm going to bring up my brother, another brother from another mother, Ronan, up in this. Yeah, because he saw this film too, twice. So yeah, man, we're about to get into that scene. Let's talk about it. We go see freaking another black and white universe and everything, and all of a sudden you hear in the background, it's a bird, it's a plane. I'm like, that's Superman. It wasn't any Superman. It was my grandfather's Superman, the OG George Reeves in the 1950s. my dad. Remember watching that the reruns of that. He was born. I think he was born in '61, so that wasn't that far away. So yeah, no, it was like George
And
Reeves,
then who and
Superman,
and
and
then
then
who's in the freaking
closer,
sphere of
you
his
see
universe?
motherfucker running. I was like, who's that? Whatever. He's Jay Garrett.
Jay Garrick.
I was like, okay. Like everybody in the audience was like clapping and mess. I was like, okay, they're going there. Yeah. But then it starts to unravel more. It unravels more, and you get to another Earth, right? And all of a sudden, you see a silhouette, whatever, and it's like, what's going on here? You see, it's another Superman, and all of a sudden, get closer. Who it is? It's another Reeves, but it ain't George. It's your boy Christopher.
I've never yelled.
Christopher
I've never
Reeves.
yelled no fucking way in my whole life as much as I did when that happened. And at the same time, I was like, "Whoa!" But I also was like, "Whoa! What is this? Is this ethically good or whatnot?" But I'm like, Then Helen Slater comes in. I was like, "Wait a minute! This is
Listen,
Supergirl."
Later, Supergirl.
Yeah.
That never happened. Listen, and we never had the opportunity of seeing both of them on the same screen together, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they have both their films, came out. Like the Supergirl film did come out as well, but you never see them ever cross over until like with this scene. And we know, okay, you can't never do this live action, but they did it. They did it, and it worked. It's like you see old school Superman with old school Supergirl, blonde hair and everything. So all the trolls like, listen, you got it, okay? Stop complaining.
And so, fellas, I have to go right now because I got some stuff. But I'm gonna say this: is that when I saw Nick, and when I saw the hair, the long hair, I really went, "Oh my gosh, they're doing it!" And then I see the spider coming out. I was like, freaking the f out more than anything, even more than for Reeve and Slater. And all I could think of was the great John Snap. I was like, damn it, I wish he was here still with us to watch that. And I immediately, after that night, I went to go rewatch the documentary. But yeah, I enjoy the movie. The visual effects, yes, are very rough. But in a movie that took almost a decade to come out, I remember being in high school when this was starting to develop, that although rough around the edges visually, it stuck the landing for me. And I had pure fun. At no time was I shrugging my shoulders and whatnot. It was a blast, and we'll see what happens towards the end because I wish I could talk to you about that ending scene, but yeah,
Team JVS is gonna be doing a live stream discussion. I know probably Rona can probably be there. So yeah,
probably.
I'll put the link and everything on my community tab when they do that, so you guys can go over to their channel, and also make sure you guys subscribe to Ronin Unchained on YouTube as well, another content creator, and everything. We'll be talking very soon, man. I don't want to hold you up and stuff.
Fellas, sorry I can't stay long, but it was good to chat with you guys. Good to see you. Holy shit. I'll take care, y'all.
See you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going back to that, we also for a slight second saw Adam. Don't die. Saw Adam West's Batman for a slight second as well.
Yes, we see Adam West Batman and stuff, right? Going in there, and and again, it's just over and over. This old school DC. Listen, we heard many rumors of cameos and other stuff like that, right? But what they did here. It actually realigns with terms of DC Comics in terms of like it's a celebration. It's a celebration. We're going to old school DC, and this is right before we're getting ready to this whole hopefully new continuity and everything. And the way they did it, it was just like, listen, celebrate what came before and move forward to terms of the possibility of what could be, right? And and I just like what they were doing with this. And you have Adam West, Batman that show up, and then, with that scene even gets bigger, you have Nicolas Cage, Superman.
Superman.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice. It's like,
you want me to say? You want me to say it?
But go ahead. I'm gonna get some water. What's that?
Yeah, do that. Don't die on us. But yeah, Nicolas Cage is Superman. For many you don't know, yeah, he was going to be Superman in a film called Superman. Superman Lives. It was going to be
Superman Lives.
yeah, Superman Lives, Kevin Smith was, even slated to have a part within this film, and the part with the giant spider is what they wanted. Well, not what Kevin wanted, but what the studio or the original director wanted for the ending for him to fight a giant spider. So not only does Nicholas finally get to be Superman and get to show off that suit, we also get to see somewhat of what his universe looks like, even if it was for a slight second. But yeah, celebrating what came before, and even what didn't get fully brought into fruition with DC. Like again, Nicolas Cage's Superman, or seeing Christopher Reeve's Superman and the Supergirl of that universe finally in the same frame as one another. Stuff we never got to see, plus stuff that we did see. Like heck, I think the Jay Garrick, who was in the Chronosphere for the first ever live action Superman, I think that might have been Teddy Sears' Jay Garrick from the CW TV show, the dude who impersonated Jay Garrick but is actually Zoom. But I guess in that universe is Jay Garrick. Whatever the case may be, like, even if it was only a few spears, like, we didn't see anyone else from the TV or movie side, I still heavily enjoyed this moment. I also enjoyed the moment leading up to it, when it came to Dark Flash and the reveal that he was younger Barry. I started to see the signs as soon as his wounds healed around that shard of metal that got impaled into his arm. Something just told me as soon as that happened, like, oh, wait a minute. And that's when I realized, oh, that's Dark Flash. He's going to become Dark Flash and cause the loop, which I just say, Dark Flash, the design, toy-wise, when we first saw him in toys, he did not look good. But in the movie, I have to say, I really like the design for Dark
I like the design he had with, like,
Mhm.
especially when you find out that he was made, like, the suit that was leaked that's saying that is made out of Kryptonian armor and everything like that. But even with this adaptation of it, was giving more of a Savitar type look to it. And I thought even kind of like a better version of what Savitar was in the CW series and everything. But yeah, you have the toys that came out of this, and this is what they were saying: the Flash suit was made out of that material. And then when you're seeing moving forward, you start to see more of him. One getting more aggressive, more angry, and
Getting
and
wounded,
more
getting
sadistic too.
battered and broken.
Yeah, and just like he's not even scathed the fact that he has like a freaking like Kryptonian like piece of metal like literally protruding out of his arm, and he's like, "Hey, you ready? Let's go!" And then as he keep coming back, he has more pieces and more pieces come on him and stuff. I'm like, bro, like, like, and I was like, yeah, no, this is probably what's happening, right? But I like the approach, when he was saying, listen, I've done this for so many lifetimes, and you can never imagine that we're so close. And then that he got trapped in like in a paradox, right? And that's what you were seeing. And with everything. And what's funny? They gave this away. This image
Yeah,
was
they
like,
kind of did with this image.
like this was a promotional image and behind the scenes they did like I think a year or so ago. And it was right in our faces. So it was like, I mean, and I'm just like, I'm looking at this. You see George Reeves, Superman in the back right here. You see Christopher Reeves right here and Zod. I heard that that Christopher Reeves, Jor-El was supposed to be in there, but yeah, going back to hardcore DC stuff, man. Like this is the like shit we're talking about, man. Yeah. So, but I like again, like it was again that the villain of this film really was more of himself, and it basically you become your own worst enemy when you can't let go of the past, right?
Two sides of the same coin,
right? And again, when he's moving more into this, and I felt this because like I wrestled this with myself and not learn how to let things go, right, and everything, and knowing that you affect a lot of people around you, not just yourself, but other people around you and stuff when you just can't let go of things, and that again, that's just what to this theme of this film, which is why it's one of like top tier DC films, is that they allow the message and the story really kind of flow on its own and basically and almost become like a case study of not learning how to let things go and stuff, which a lot of DC films really didn't have that message or theme. Like you can say, oh, this movie's about family, or this movie is about relationships and whatever, but really just a deep like DC flavor of the week Netflix thing, and not really something I can like look back and remember like, yo, that happened. You were in the theater when this happened. Like, yes, So, but yeah, and as we get into it, he saves his mom, and in one of the most really like emotional scenes again, talking with him. And oh, by the way, his mother's Hispanic. Yeah, so Flash is Hispanic, in this universe. Which listen, and she was like speaking English, singing English. Spanish too, and stuff like that. And I'm like, cool. Not made a big deal about it because like we have a Hispanic Flash, Hispanic Barry Allen. So it's like, and no one escaped about it. I know, Sasha, she's also Hispanic as well, right? But like, listen, I thought that they let that move through in this character, and it was no big freaking deal, and I like that. It was also part of the story. That was the song they were singing when he was a kid. That that's Barry, and that's what he was remembering, right? And when we were getting to that scene about this thing with the tomatoes, right? 3 lives destroyed over a can of tomatoes, right? And he put the tomatoes back, but he's saying with his dad that when he was at the store, he never looked up, right? And he saw the camera, and I guess he might rearrange those the tomatoes so they'll be on the top shelf
so he could look up,
right? And then when we go, and then we get to present day, that the case saying by Wayne Tech and everything. And shout out to Bruce Wayne being MVP in this movie, right? He basically was able to use his technology to actually get a clear view of the footage of Henry Allen and everything, and now his father's free. And I'm glad it was just emotional at that moment. Like, yeah, I never thought they would free him in this movie, but we've seen that in The Flash before. But again, they just like it was heart behind that. The build up to get to that point, it just felt, it was a set just a relief, right? Just putting just the cans back and everything. But even then, it still did not. It still changed things because he did not put it and fix it. He actually went back and changed more things. He might put the tomatoes back, but he still put them a different position for his dad to pick them up, which then also changed his timeline.
Well, now before we actually talk about the ending, I want to talk about the other 2 that they said would have been before we got the one that was released in theaters.
Yes, build up. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the movie ends with, Barry, his father's now out of prison. He and Iris are set to go on a date. By the way, Iris in this film, we didn't get much of her, but I really liked her in this film. And then after that, he calls up Bruce and he's like, thank you for everything that you've done. He's like, hold on, I'm actually pulling up right now to see you. He shows up. But here's how the 2 other endings would have been. The first ending would have actually shown that it was Michael Keaton's Batman that was there, which we actually saw behind the scenes photo of when they were first filming this. So we would have actually seen that. The second version would have still had Michael Keaton's Batman, but would have also included Sasha Supergirl, Henry Cavill Superman, and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman all showing up to see Barry after that, which would have also meant that, hey, Sasha could have, come back, but hey, she could still come back. But that's not the endings we got. Bruce Wayne showed up, but it wasn't Ben Affleck, nor was Michael Keaton. It was freaking George Clooney. The Batman from Batman and Robin.
Emotional damage.
Listen, man. Everybody was laughing in the theater for this. Now, mind you, when we first saw the first screen, they didn't add this, right? The scene basically got to so when they got to the scene, you see his shoes, him come out the car, hear him on the phone, and all of a sudden Barry walks up, but it doesn't cut away. You just see Barry's face, and all of a sudden Barry, like on the camera, he's like, "Who the fuck is this?" And then it cuts away. No credits, no nothing.
Wow.
That's how it ended. So, and now the reason why I was getting hyped for this, because I was like, yo, are they gonna show who the new Batman is in this scene? Like not like
Nope.
as a joke. I was like, nah. See, I actually gave him a little more credit, and which is why I thought this was absolutely fucking stupid. That they did this. Because it's like this and the end credit scene. Cause you mean tell me, hold on a second. See, you mean tell me in this whole press screenings and fan screens that you had, and you say do not see them. This is not the finished cut, y'all. This is not the finished cut of the movie. Again, this is not the finished cut of the movie. We're still working on it and everything. We're not going to show you the ending, right? And then all of a sudden you get to it, it's like, wait, you mean tell me the only thing you had between this screening and the last is that you didn't touch up any of the visual effects. You didn't. The only thing you added the worst Batman from the worst Batman movie of all time, and you added a scene of Aquaman getting drunk and basically sleeping in a pool against a diner and a gas station.
Right outside Barry's apartment. He could have just gone up to Barry's apartment, but he's like, "Hey, I sleep."
It was stupid. It was so stupid. Like, no, this was my thing. Like, wait, I had to wait. I had to wait to show the ending for this shit for a joke. Like, because this is what I think. Imagine this, right? Because this would have been we're saving the movie. We're saving the ending of this movie because the ramifications with this film, just like Flashpoint. We're establishing a new universe and everything, right? Guess what? The next DC movie, aside from 2, whatever, that they is James Gunn with a Superman movie, Superman Legacy, which is coming out in 2025, is the first film in terms of the new continuity of DC moving forward, right? And what you have is we're currently in the casting process right now for James Gunn's Superman. I look for Superman, look for Lois Lane, all stuff like that, right? And there's a list of names, actors is going out right now. Some of it's true, some of it's not true, right? And we still got a Batman movie coming out, which confirmed director Andy Muschietti, who directed this film, is going to be directing the next Batman movie with the continuity of him being Batman and Damian Wayne Robin, which is going to be in multiple different movies and that continuing story, right? He's confirmed directing Batman. I'm like, wait a minute. We don't see who Bruce Wayne is. Wait a minute. We know there's casting Superman, but what if it would have been cool and like saying be a big like mind f is like, yo, they're casting, they already got their Batman, right? They got their 2 pillars. So we're gonna cast Superman. We also got to cast Batman, and we'll reveal him in the ending of this movie, right? That would have been ballsy because everyone would be focused on, hey, we're focused on Superman Legacy. We're focusing on new Superman casting. Nobody even talking about who's going to be cast as new Batman, right? Nobody even talking about it.
And even if, even with that being the case, even if we didn't have the casting just yet, what could have been better, especially since you're saying that in the first screening you saw, they just cut it right there. They could have just shown him from the back and gotten like anyone's voice to voice Bruce Wayne, but we didn't need to see the face. We could have just known, oh, okay, this is the new universe Bruce Wayne. We just don't know who they are yet. Even if they didn't have an actor yet, they could have just done that.
Right, but even then, like, listen, like, we know that this Batman, who's gonna be Batman Brave the Bold, is gonna be the age of a father who has a Damian Wayne Rob, so he could be a little bit older, right? But my thing was, I was like, yo, are they gonna show who the new Batman is? Because I already knew about the whole Michael Keaton thing of the original ending. Because remember, y'all, the reason why it had the original ending before James Gunn came in and saying or resetting everything, something can be same, something can be different. The ending of that film,
that Batgirl stuff,
was to lead to the Batgirl movie that got canceled. That was already shot, and Michael Keaton was in it, right? And that was he's gonna be the new Batman as like a Nick Fury type character, just in these movies and stuff, right? But that got scrapped. So I was like, wait, so what's the ending? They're gonna show who the new Batman is, right? No.
Nope.
And you know how funny how George Clooney, how he collected a check in this. He's like, listen, the fact that he's coming back as Bruce Wayne and he didn't even decide to shave his beard. Like, fuck this, man. I'm coming in here, collecting my damn check, and y'all be happy to have me here. So like seriously,
Bruh.
he didn't even shave his beard to be at least somewhat consistent to Batman, or whatever, right? He's like, nah, I'm just here.
No, and you know what would have been a better like ending? Like as much as I like Momoa as Aquaman, a better ending, especially if this is going to be the last one of the DCU and the going into the brand new DC universe that apparently James Gunn says is going to start with Blue Beetle, but we'll see. Like the new universe. Here's a better ending. Sasha Supergirl all of a sudden wakes up and sees what looks like Kal-El in front of her, but he's against the light, so we don't see his face. Welcome to the new universe.
Right, that would have been cool. Like, at least saying whatever that Superman would be, and say, hey, listen, that it'll be also a piece to her character, knowing that hey, her cousin's still alive. So that I agree with you on that. That would have been cool. But again, this movie was already done and stuff before James Gunn even came on. So
right.
So yeah, so I feel like any approach that they would have took with this would have there was more scenes that got cut than what we've gotten, like in terms of with the ending, right? Like this was the least satisfying ending we could have gotten because there's more things that they had in there. They had Wonder Woman, they had everybody in there, and they cut that out. Right? And hopefully they probably wouldn't, but like if they put it on deleted scene or something like that, just to say
maybe we'll see.
That would have been cool, right? But because even then, there's promo shots, there's trailers. You see Sasha Supergirl in a shot with people in the back.
You ready?
And saying, "You ready?"
You
and I
ready?
was like, "That was in front of the freaking courthouse, and you don't see it in the movie." Like, So I was like, "Yeah," but I will address the comment. Shout out to We Unlock. You saying that Michael Keaton performance was great in the movie. Saying it was very stupid and stuff like that. He said he did not like Supergirl. But I'm like, I know, some people are going to be saying, that have disagreements on her and everything. I thought she was fine. She wasn't like, you can say there wasn't that much they would have done with her character, but I just like that it was simple to point and serve the story and didn't really convolute anything where she's kind of, but I also, what I was given, I'm like, I want to see more of her. And a cinematic or Supergirl that is going against the traditional Supergirl I know from the anime series. I'm like, I want to do something different. And I think this is actually going to serve a better story because then we already get a grittier Superman. And what James is now doing with no, I want Superman to be the core to his morals, who he is as a character, be a person of hope, be of a leader and inspiration and everything like that. But then you can have a Supergirl who's more grounded and grittier, and which can combat that and be some type of synergy there, especially them being cousins, in the coming movies, right? I think that'd be cool. But yeah, I now as we get into this, talking about what's the next step, right? What's the ramifications is moving forward. The big one is saying, will Ezra Miller continue as the Flash? I'm gonna start with you, J. King, before I get my answer.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, that depends on a couple of things. See, as I said before, I think he did a really good job portraying both versions of Barry Allen and the Flash within this film. I think that he is a good actor. Now, of course, there's going to also be the discussion of what he did in, real life in the recent couple of years. The very dark turns that he has taken within his life. Now, of course, as we know, he is getting help right now. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, heck, they even allowed him to be at the red carpet and be interviewed. So I'm guessing he's in a state of getting better and becoming mentally stable. We'll see how that goes. For me, if he fully commits to making that better effort, then okay, I wouldn't mind potentially seeing another Flash movie with him in it. maybe we introduce Wally within this one, and then maybe Wally can take over if they're not sure. But if he doesn't, then hey, we've had other Flashes before. We can always find another one. But if you ask me if I could, my answer is he needs to work on recovery first.
Yeah. With everything going on, the controversy that's happened. Listen, I'm not saying people can't come back, and not have a redemption and learn from their mistakes, right? That's not the conversation we're having here, right? It's more of a terms of business sense. And you've seen many reports of people, whether it might be Elliot Page or even Issa Rae, basically having issues saying what's Hollywood protecting, their actors, especially, let's face it, even white actors. Like we still have the thing going on with Jonathan Majors right now. We have, Nurse Swartha, who is the new, who is Namor. He got sexual assault and everything, and now nothing in terms of with him been like to the extent of Jonathan Majors, because Jonathan Majors was arrested, right? This is just allegation, right?
Yeah, just an allegation of something he was dealing with already for like 3 months prior, and has evidence to show that it's not the case.
Right, it's still court of public opinion and everything but literally looking how if this happened to any other actor, I mean, let's face it, even a black actor. I'm not trying to bring racism. I'm just using it as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there wouldn't be no premiere. They probably wouldn't even show this movie.
Nope.
And I mean, and the fact that he showed up to premiere, he took interviews, right, and then was able to speak and everything. I thought his comments he made at the premiere, I thought was good, especially was pre-written and everything. But talking about, he thanked everyone, and he also thanked the filmmakers in the studio for dealing with him, especially with the circumstances of his life and everything. But I'm saying this right now, I don't care how much money this movie is making. Ezra Miller's not coming back as Flash, because the reason why is that with this new state of DC, they need a lot of things going for them than not. And with already the behind the scenes controversy you had with before Ezra, with the whole Snyder thing, and Henry Cavill, studios not going in and changing scripts and having not letting directors have full control. You have to be a drama-free zone. And hell, we have the dude running DC now when he had that almost a similar situation where he was fired from Marvel, and then they got hired back again and everything. And then we act like that never happened, but it did happen. And this dude got more out of that than he did than most people would, because if people survive, in terms of not being prosecuted or anything else, out of their career. They just living in quiet. James Gunn is now running DC. Had the last film made almost around $800 million in the box office, and he got hired with DC to do Suicide Squad on top of this film he was doing with Marvel. He was getting opportunities out of that. So it's like there's a double standard there. But again, I'm not saying anyone should not be is exempt from being forgiven. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that they need to go a different direction with this. They need to, because this is not going to be beneficial to them as a corporation moving forward. And they're playing PR right now because they know that the film is coming out as of right now, and we're not going to say that our actor is fired, just like with the whole thing with Ben Affleck. Oh, Ben Affleck is still going to be Batman. When Comic-Con happened and there was reports saying he was done as Batman, and he was, and then he's like, no, I will go be with Matt Reeves and I'll be like an 8 for him and everything like in the movies. No, I'm still being Batman. Come back, he's not being Batman anymore. It's a PR thing, and I feel like weeks after this film come out, like literally not gonna be too long until we find out he's not coming back. Especially now, even regardless, he said the movie makes a lot of money, and we might have him as as an actor. I'm like, no, you're not. No, it's like the amount of money that someone makes is not good to sort of their public opinion. And listen, and I saw what the movies are tracking. I think this movie made $60 million this weekend, which surprisingly, Spider-Verse made 3 times as that on its opening weekend. Right, made $280 million. Right, its opening weekend, and Flash currently right now is tracking making 60. Right, and I'm just saying, like, even when you're hearing some views about Aquaman 2 not being that good, Blue Beetle, you know, it's morphin' time, and stuff. But
Stop.
I'm just saying. Listen, I'm not saying I hope the movie can be bad, but I'm just like it ain't gonna be like the greatest thing in the world and stuff like that. It's like no. But if they go in a direction, they have to do a clean slate. Because I don't like this whole thing when you make a reboot, but then you want to pick and choose who you want to bring to a point. It confuses it being a reboot. And after everything, you want to keep, we're waiting on have Henry Cavill back, but we can't because it's a new Superman. And then, will we keep Ezra Miller because of what? Continuity? No. Do I forgive him as a person if he's take accountability, if charges, anything are presented, and he's taking accountability for it? Who am I not to say he can't be exempt from that? Whatever. Like, he done a time, he apologized, and he changed his pattern of behavior over that. There's gonna, of course, anyone. Like, to me personally, I would forgive someone and everything like that, but it's better said than done. And so I just like leave it at that with saying that if you're gonna be the Flash again with that, but yeah. But other than that, I just don't know if anything we missed in terms of this, because we covered a lot here, and this was.
I think we got it all.
Yeah. Again, guys, go see the Flash. If you have opportunity to go see it and everything. This was our spoiler discussion of the Flash, and there will be breakdown videos coming up, just in terms of small bits or theories we have with this film. With Spider-Verse, we're still going on. Spider-Verse is an ongoing conversation. I don't care what anyone says. Even now, is The Flash the best movie of the year? No, it's not. Spider-Verse is the best movie of the year. I said what I said. I agree. I said what I said. And Spider-Verse turns a multiverse story. Nah, Spider-Verse, no, it's crown. But hey, who knows? The Marvels can knock it out. But yeah,
is that sarcasm?
Yes, it is. I hope you catching on. But yeah, we got Secret Invasion coming out in a couple of weeks. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just telling you, the Marvels ain't gonna not get in there, but it's okay.
That's it, calm down. Guys, let's all calm down, yeah? We're all worked up. Let's all just chill the F out.
I'll leave it at that. But yeah, man, we got some more content gonna be coming very, very soon. We got the Avatar stuff that's coming that we're breaking down. But next week, we're also gonna make up for some news that's been dropping. Like, one, Marvel release dates were changed, which we're I don't know. J King might do a video about that. Basically just with a shift on that and everything. But we also have with Avatar, we got the release dates. Avatar 5 going to be coming out in 2031. I'm going to be 33 years old with children by then. So yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, and we got what else? We got other films. Barbie is coming out next month.
Oh yeah, that's one thing that I said. Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
So yeah, Barbie's coming out next. Oppenheimer, right on the same day. So yeah, y'all. Yeah. And we got also I'll be checking out this other film tomorrow, Elementals. I'll be doing a review for that. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. But yeah, guys, also make sure you guys hit the notification bell. Give us feedback if you like the show or like things from this channel and everything. What you like, what you didn't like. And also let us know if you like The Flash. Are you guys not seeing this movie? I know some people like saying I ain't watching The Flash. But it is a good movie. I think, regardless of trying to remove the art from the artist, this is actually a really good story. But as a DC fan entirely, this is something I've been waiting for them to do, and I hope this is a step in the right direction, y'all. Yeah, but other than that, you find J King on social media links down below. You see him on this channel too. You can find me here on YouTube on Jedi Mike 7, also on Team JVS as well. And we'll see you guys relatively soon. Till next time, J King, I'm Jedi Mike 7. Peace. We are out.
Is there anything you want the fans to know or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.